The following is a presentation of the HAN Network, the leader for local news, sports, and more in southwestern Connecticut.
HAN Network's 2016 fall postseason coverage gets underway. We have got quarterfinals play in the boys soccer championships as we get set to see the Danbury Hatters and the Fairfield Ludlowe Falcons in a rematch of one of the semifinals from last year's season. I'm Frank Renito for the HAN Network, and I am joined in the booth now by my partner Kevin Coleman. Kevin, excited to be back up with you here today. How are you doing?
Good. We're happy to see that you're feeling better and back, and we're really excited that these playoffs are underway. And just in terms of soccer FCIAC playoffs, if you're an 8 seed, you still have potential. It's just that's why these playoff tournaments are so much fun to be a part of. And I know these student athletes are so excited to get this going, especially these two teams.
It's a 3-6 matchup today. The Hatters, the higher seed, have home field advantage. We were down on the field not too long ago speaking with the coaches. Both teams a little banged up coming into today's game after what was a tough final stretch to the regular season.
Well, Frank, they played each other Monday, and speaking to the coaching staff, they said that it felt like a preseason game. There were a lot of starters missing. It was a 1-1 tie between these two teams. I think these two teams today are going to see a different look with each other than what they saw Monday. A lot of injuries today, some strep throat actually. We heard 2 kids on Ludlow are actually sick, under the weather. And we're actually going to see for Danbury's Kevin Spinetta, who's their top striker. He's actually playing center back today.
And this will be the second game in a row now that he's playing that position. Injuries at this point in the season, they're tough for any team to avoid. It's just a part of this rigorous 16-game schedule that you go through in the conference. And both coaches alluding to how difficult it is in this conference. We talked about how we think an 8 seed will be able to pull off an upset. That'll be Staples at Greenwich, a very interesting game we'll talk about more as we're underway here from Danbury High School. The Hatters wearing all white. They're moving from right to left on your screen to start today's match. For the visiting Falcons, they're in the blue tops over the white shorts. They will move from left to right towards the scoreboard and those extra practice fields with the baseball field all the way to the far side. Danbury comes in with a record of 10-2-4. Their only 2 losses on the year came at the hands of Greenwich and Trumbull, the 1 and 2 seeds in the conference. Ludlow, the defending FCIAC champion, was 9-6-1 this season. Again, we mentioned they did play once this season, these two teams. That was back on Monday. They played to a 1-1 draw with a lot of the key players out of the lineup. Kevin, if there are a couple players that we should keep an eye on today, why don't you give us one for the Hatters and one for the Falcons?
Well, for the Hatters, we got Ricardo Rodriguez, but unfortunately, he's speaking to the coaching staff. He's really only 80 to 85% healthy today. He's not that full 100 that they would love. You're going to see him, really give his heart out today. He's the sole part of this team. He plays in the center mid, creates chances, and he's also a great finisher. And for the Falcons, it's the top forward, James Rowland. And James Rowland, has scored so many big goals this year for the Falcons. He's playing up top today, and they need to feed him the ball. And that's a big thing we saw against Ward, was Ward shut down James Rowland. That's why they were able to win that game. And, that's a reason why, the Mustangs were able to pull that win out, because they shut down James Rowland. So those are 2 players that need to look out for.
As we're just under 2 minutes through the start of this one. Mostly play in the midfield to this point in time. As we'll see a throw-in opportunity down right around the 20-yard mark, it looks like, here for the Falcons' first chance on the offensive side of the field. This is Richie Bellucci to throw this one in all the way into the box. Good throw there Obviously, it is cold out today. This game originally scheduled to be played yesterday, Kevin, but they postponed it due to weather. Very cold yesterday. There was combinations of rain, sleet, and even snow. Both coaches seemed pretty happy with the decision to move this game over to a sunny Friday where the wind will be the biggest issue this afternoon.
Yeah, they're very happy that they moved this game over to today. But you know who's not happy is the Blue Wave, who lost yesterday in penalty kicks to, a great game. It was, talk about Ward coming in as a 5 seed, playing Darien Blue Wave, the 4 seed. What a fantastic win for the Mustangs. And it's just, it was a great game.
This one rolls out of bounds. Over on the right side. Go back over to Kevin. Kevin, slow pace of play here at the start.
Yeah, I think both teams wanted to, come out with some potential to try and get some chances. You see the Falcons have been doing a nice job of keeping it on the Danbury end. And, one of these teams really has to be aggressive here in these first few minutes.
Went back and forth, played through the middle here. Able to win the 50-50 ball opportunity was Alec Moore, one of the Hatters captains. Makes its way back to Justin Warren. Looked to center there for Ricardo Rodriguez. Edwin Rosano on possession now. Brings it back to Dyson Barzy. Through ball opportunity just out of reach for Moore.
And Frank, I really like that possession there for the Hatters. That was their best possession so far in this game. Trying to play a through ball. Didn't go through, but I like the idea.
And a good job there, too. We saw it on that far sideline at the top of the screen, and the Hatters able to work it across to the midfield. Had the ability to even flip fields if they'd wanted to, but an aggressive chance early here as they tried to send more with the through ball.
And another thing to bring up is it's playoff time, and obviously stakes are high. So when there's a foul, how quickly are the referees to pull out a card? Are they going to keep it back on some cases? It's a big topic in playoff soccer. The refs obviously want, there to be a good advantage for both teams, keep it fair. But, there are some cases where we've seen in the past where, referees have kept their cards in their pocket, on some cases. So we'll see what happens.
It's an interesting reset here as they went quickly. Opportunity for the Hatters.
Yeah, Frank, the goalie actually caught the ball outside the box. Obviously not allowed if you're a goalie. And smart move by Danbury to take a quick free kick. They had an open net. Couldn't finish.
Just missed on that one. Thought originally that a Falcons player might have touched it last. We would have seen a corner opportunity, but that is not the case. So the goal kick coming here.
And I think for these two teams, we're obviously going to see a fair amount of chances for both teams, and it's going to go back and forth. Danbury, obviously, so much high-power offense. Ludlowe has a great defense, so it's kind of an interesting combination today. What we're going to see, we'll see if Danbury can, see what they can do about, trying to get through this flat four the Falcons play.
Danbury with the only real opportunity to date in this game. That came just a moment ago with that free kick at the empty net. We have another free kick awarded here as Murphy's going to try to send one high into the box, gets stuck up in that wind. And the rebound shot here rolling around in the box now momentarily. And finally, are the Falcons able to clear?
Yeah, the back four is showing why they're so good all year. 7 shutouts on the air for this back four for the Falcons. A little bit of a hesitant play by the keeper there. He should have came out sooner and punched it away. Luckily, Danbury couldn't get a shot on net.
And that keeper, of course, is Jack McGuire.
And McGuire actually made some really fantastic saves against that game against Ward at Taft Field. He made some outstanding saves to keep the Falcons in the game. Unfortunately, losing 1-0, but again, he's shown great skill.
These two teams did meet last year in the FCIAC semifinals. Ludlowe came away with a 4-2 victory on their way to winning the FCIAC championship. All three players, one man, of course, having 2 goals for the Falcons, graduated from last year's championship team. The 2 goal scorers, Felipe Alves and Kevin Spinato, among a big senior class that has returned for the Hatters this year. If they're going to make a run, Kevin, this is a big year for them to do it. They have a lot of returning players.
They do, and obviously it's always tough, as we're going to see a free kick here for the Hatters. It's always tough to lose, top players who graduate. And it looks like Coach O'Hara is going to get a stern talking to here by the referee.
Questions being sorted out as we get a good look on the screen, the explanation being given.
And Frank, the foul, it was a free kick, but Kevin O'Hara thinks it should be a corner rather than a free kick. That's what I think the argument's about. And the referee, if you see on the screen, is showing why there was a foul as he shoved him.
There are 12 seniors on the Danbury roster. That's the free kick coming into the box. Tried for the little back heel tap there, but just missed as that one went through the legs of Alec Moore. Once again, though, the Falcons clearing to safety. The Falcons taking no chances early on. Any ball in that box, they're throwing it as far away as possible, even if that means kicking it out of bounds and losing or not allowing yourself back on possession.
Right, and that just goes to show Danbury's put on a lot of pressure to start this game, and that's something the coaching staff, really, definitely told this team beginning of the week during training, and to talk also, we also talked to the coaching staff how there was almost a sheet of ice on this field. They couldn't even do training yesterday, Frank.
It was very rough conditions yesterday. A lot more rain up in this part of the state compared to lower Fairfield County, where we did see Darien and Fairfield Ward play. That was the first of the 4 boys quarterfinal matches to be played this week. Fairfield Ward, the 5 seed, we'll call it an upset. They knocked off a higher ranked team, winning 3-2 on penalty kicks, but it was a very exciting game from start to finish there.
And Frank, if that doesn't indicate how good these playoffs are going to be, folks, hold on tight. It's going to be a fun ride.
Could be a lot of fun as this one again played around in the box, cleared to safety off the free kick opportunity. A handball is ruled here by the officials. We talked about on Nutmeg Sports, we thought at least one of the quarterfinal games, possibly 2, would end up going to penalty kicks.
How about the first one going?
We'll have updates on the 3 other quarterfinal games in play today as they continue to go on. Of course, those games are going to be Staples at Greenwich, Stanford at Trumbull. And this the third being Ludlowe here against Danbury.
And, man, that Staples Greenwich game, for a one playing the 8 seed, I really think that's going to be a really fun game.
Today's schedule across the board is very interesting. Obviously, this one's a rematch from the FCIAC semis last year. You've got the defending FCIAC champion coming in as an underdog. And, again, they're still the team that needs to be knocked off. They're the defending FCIAC champion until they lose in this tournament. But then you think about the rivalry between Staples and Greenwich, and just the emotion that's going to go into that game. Greenwich is the #1 team in the state, not only the conference right now, but they'll definitely be tested today against the Wreckers. And then you look at Stanford and Trumbull. We had those 2 teams on Monday, and what a crazy finish that one was. Stanford's got to be believers, though, after the performance they put up despite that late loss.
You talk about such a heartbreaking loss like that. 3 unanswered goals in the last 11 minutes after you have a 2-0 lead. I mean, for a while, everyone in that stadium just thought that game was theirs. It was locked down, and to see, you got to give credit to those Eagles for coming back and scoring. Matt Lancia, if you haven't seen the goal that he scored, definitely, you got to go on HAN.com and see the highlights from that game. Absolutely incredible.
Of course, another way to watch the games now, if you don't want to go to HAN.network, we've got the new HAN Network app that you can download on your phones. It's in the Google Play Store as well as the App Store. Get live streams, all of our live shows, the on-demand shows as well. A very cool way to keep up with the HAN network, so make sure you get on and download that.
And, I have the app, and it gives you an alert. It gave me an alert about this game, which is cool. So if you're at home and, you didn't know this game was at 3:30, you got a little alert.
Kevin was maybe oversleeping today, and just in case he was going to be a little late, could make it here from Ridgefield.
Don't give away my identity. Come on, man.
And you saw in that last play, Kevin, the ball really picking up speed as it rolls down the field. There is a heavy wind from the west end zone blowing back towards the high school, and that will definitely play a factor. It'll be interesting to see. Danbury's going into the wind now. Ludlowe had the option of what side to play with. They chose the wind at their back in the first half.
And we were on the field for the coin toss, and they were so adamant to have this side of the field too. So I wonder if they're going to use that to their advantage maybe in the second half.
And as a former player, Kevin, I'll ask you, what if you were in this type of a game, do you want the wind at your back in the first half, or would you rather have it at your back in the second half, maybe try to battle through it, or is battling through it actually the way to go?
I think battling through it's the way to go because you never know what's going to happen. We could see it today how, it's almost a disadvantage for the goalie. It's something that, not only is a slick ball on a rainy day their worst nightmare, a windy day like this is their nightmare too.
Obviously. And, I mean, for me, I'm always thinking with that football frame of mind, you want to have the wind at your back, obviously. Later in the game, I'm interested to see how it will play a factor today. It is up in the mid-20s with gusts maybe even reaching up to 28 miles per hour. So something to keep an eye on throughout this game as we are just about 15 minutes into the first half, still scoreless. And a corner opportunity coming for the Falcons, their first one of the match.
Yeah, you see you got numbers forward in the box here for the Falcons.
So a low ball played into the short side of the box, makes its way out. Pinballed around for a moment, now cleared to midfield, and Rodriguez comes up on possession looking to run a little bit.
Yeah, you see Rodriguez's speed there. I mean, this is why he's one of the top players in the FCIAC.
But credit the defensive effort there. Good work from Alex Kraus.
Yeah, Coach O'Hare and the rest of the coaching staff was actually wondering about a couple penalties there. And, I mentioned it before, the referees are definitely going to let the boys play today. And you're not going to see the card come out as quickly as you would during the regular season. And now you're starting to see some Falcons starting to get loose. Because it's a cold day, Frank. You cramp up on days like this. So you got to keep, subs warm. As you see, these guys are stretching out and getting loose. So we're going to see some subs for the Falcons.
First set of subs that will be coming in.
And today both teams, Frank, are playing a traditional flat four.
This one played in the box. Good work there.
Not a smart play.
Now errant throw, though, after the initial save was made. But good defensive effort from the Hatters. Puts him back on possession. Rodriguez sends the through ball.
Great through ball.
Shot on cage, spired on there and made the save. Good job coming from McGuire.
How about that through ball? Ricardo Rodriguez. I mean, he put that on a silver platter. Beautiful.
For a while on that original break towards the net, it looked like McGuire was well off his line, almost outside the cage, tempting the shooter.
You're absolutely right. This is twice now. He's looked a little hesitant back there, in terms of his positioning. So, he's going to have to rethink his positioning a little bit because he's been hesitant. We've seen that in corner kicks so far, too, with him.
First set of subs being used by the Falcons here. They're going to use 4 subs. Again, they're missing players due to injury, due to illness. We expect to see a lot of players being cycled in and out, trying to keep them as fresh as possible to make it through the full 80 minutes.
Yeah, Kevin O'Hara, Coach O'Hara for the Falcons definitely likes, to keep try new things and, does sub a lot. And we saw that on the game here, game of the week last week against Ward. And he's just keeping players fresh. I mean, it's a cold day, so, you got to keep the guys on the bench warm.
23:15 remaining in the first half. 0-0 quarterfinal play from the FCIAC Boys Soccer Championships. Number 3, Danbury hosting the defending champion, number 6, Ludlowe Falcons.
How about Danbury rocking the some of the guys rocking the bleach hair today?
The bleached hair, it is a strong
playoff
move in the
hair.
postseason. Looking good for the Hatters. I'm sure that several of them will be sporting hats throughout the week. Offside is the call on the throw-in attempt, or might even have stepped over the line, it looks like.
And there you have it again. They're going to play the ball. Ricardo Rodriguez is going to check to the ball in the middle as a true center mid, and that's his bread and butter. That's where you're going to find him, spreading around that middle and creating chances. You've already seen him play a beautiful through ball, so you see there.
Intercepted here. The Hatters are off. Streaker to the right. They're going to try to find over there. Cleared away to safety for a moment. Rodriguez came in. Trying to toe the line here, unable to do so, though, as this one rolls out of play, goes back over to the Falcons.
Yeah, so far we haven't seen much of, Roland. He's a guy that needs to be found here up top for the Falcons. And you see him right there.
Really no sustained possessions yet either, at least on the offensive side of the field. A lot of midfield play, 50-50 balls, and a pretty good amount of whistles here early on as well.
Yeah, it's still early. I think both teams are still trying to settle in and find their possession. I think Danbury has shown a little bit of possession life so far, and we're going to see another free kick for them. And I've liked what I've seen with the lofting balls going in the box. Let's see how McGuire positions himself.
Another high lofting ball here. This one makes its way towards the net, and McGuire able to field with ease.
And that was much better by him.
Big punt here with the wind at his back. 50-50 battle, the Hatters come up with it, and just immediately clearing to safety. This one almost makes its way up into the stands.
And we're so far, I've liked what I've seen this back four for the Hatters. They have a true striker playing center back today. Obviously some injuries had to do with that, and Kevin Spinetta has stepped up to that, which the coaching staff has been so thankful for.
Look out of town. Girls soccer in the first half. Staples has a 2-0 lead over Darien in their quarterfinal match right now. So the Records, jumping out to 2 early goals in the first half, find themselves up over the higher-ranked Darien Blue Wave.
We saw them the other night against Ward. Girls soccer, that was a good game. 1-1 tie against the Mustangs.
Cardo in the middle, tried to sidestep. Looked like a good tackle from here. A couple of Hatters find the turf.
I'm with you, Frank. Clean tackle. Good no call by the referee.
Flipping the field as they go all the way to that top sideline now.
Nice job by McGuire.
Definitely looking much more comfortable ever since that near goal for Danbury where he played a ball outside of the box with his hands.
And still, you think about Darien and Ward playing that game last night. Just unbelievable.
Great pass all the way through the box. Shot on cage. Great save.
Wow. What a save by McGuire. That's a highlight reel save. A great shot, too. A bending shot going for the top corner, Frank. Whoa.
McGuire going up with that left hand, able to knock it over the top of the net. Lost throughout the entire mix. Great through ball across the box from Rodriguez. The shot was where it needed to be. McGuire making a save he's probably not expected to make.
Listen, that is not easy. There was good pace on the ball, too. Ooh, my goodness. That is a highlight reel for sure for him. That was a gorgeous, absolute gorgeous save.
So the first shot on goal will go to the Hatters, and McGuire picks up the first save of the match.
Yeah, for the Falcons, they're missing their 2 starter center midfielders today, especially their holding center mid, who's really good, checking to the ball and being on the ball. So you can tell that's just something that they haven't had at all in the first half. And I don't know if they may have it at all during the game. And that's a big point for them because, those 2 center mids really are so good at finding those top forwards, especially Roland. So we haven't seen any of that from the Falcons so far. And, of course, we know how good the center mid presence is for the Hatters. We've seen it all game so far.
Not much pressure on the center mids or even the back line of Danbury quite yet. Ludlowe has spent the majority of this half trying to earn back possession. Careless pass there, intercepted. One touch up through and sliding out of the net there.
That's a great look there for the Falcons. I like that through ball to Roland. One of those times it's going to go through for him. It's just you got to keep feeding him, even if the goalie will scoop it up. Keep feeding him.
Another substitution package coming in: Rush Carson and Burris William Ryan. Excuse me, Carson Rush and William Ryan Burris.
And Carson Rush actually, he looked real good against Fairfield Ward last week. Heavy shove there, but again, we're not going to see many fouls called by the referee today. It's the playoffs. But going back to Carson Rush, he actually had some good looks against the Mustangs last week. And he's a good presence up front. Tall guy. He's got good speed.
Of course, Ludlow suffering that loss. 1-0 against their crosstown rival. First time in 12 years they had lost to Fairfield Ward. It was the 13th it ended a streak of 13 games. As it looks like we've got a player down here bleeding. That might be Max Goldring. I think he's bleeding. Just needs to get taped up. Good job by the officials. Of course, we'll have 3 officials, 2 linesmen, 1 referee in the postseason.
Yeah, it looks like he's got a bloody nose there. He was going up for that header. Definitely it happens. So you see him getting treated by the medical staff.
Rodriguez almost with an opportunity there. Good defense, though, from that back line. It was Michael Rowland this time, along with Chris Gerald.
And Frank, an interesting stat for the Mustangs for the boys' side. Of course, advancing against Darien last night in PKs, and they've only advanced past the first round 3 times in the past 15 years. Wow! So congratulations to them. They, to see the footage from last night's game, incredible. No lights too at Darien. They continue to play PKs. I mean, the fact that the goalies made those saves and the penalty shootouts is beyond me. Just, hats off to those keepers. Matt Skelton, of course, for the Mustangs, just absolute incredible goalkeeping skills.
And you bring up Matt Skelton, and Matt Skelton is the big reason why I believe that Ward is going to make it to the conference championship. I think they're going to be able to pull off an upset in the next round. Skelton got a lot of experience last year. They lost in the first round of the playoffs against Ludlow. He had 10 saves in a 1-0 loss, though. He's been their best player all season, and I just think that if you can find a way to put yourself in position to play a 1-0 game or a 1-goal game, Skelton can be a big enough difference maker to really pull an upset off for them.
I absolutely agree with you. I think you have to be playing well at the right time, and they are. Obviously this is a big win for them. They're going to ride that momentum to the semifinals, and obviously they'll play the winner of of Staples and Greenwich. That's just going to be, imagine if they play against Greenwich and beat them.
It would be quite the matchup. It will be a lot of fun, no doubt. The winner of this game is going to face the winner of Stanford and Trumbull. You look at both teams' schedule. Fairfield Ludlow lost 2-0 to Trumbull back on September 22nd. And they matched up against Stanford in the first game of the season. They actually beat the Black Knights 2-1 on opening night. As for Danbury, they played against Trumbull on September 28th. They lost 4-1. And then the next game on September 30th, they tied Stanford by a score of 1-1. We got to talk with the Danbury coaching staff. They do believe that right now Greenwich and Trumbull have separated themselves from the pack. They are the cream of the crop in the conference, and until they are really beaten, it's theirs to lose at the moment. But again, with the weather being late fall weather, not cooperating the way people are going to want to, it being the postseason, anything can really happen. I would not just assume that they are going to find themselves in the championship.
Yeah, they have to play. They have to play good soccer. Plain and simple. You know, there's a big target on their back, and I think they're not only the team to beat, but obviously the team we're looking at right now, Fairfield Ludlowe, as the defending champs. They're the team. Those are the two teams to beat. And you know, if you look at a team like Trumbull, they're kind of, you know, laying low, very low key. That they're, you know, have not lost a game this year, and that, you know, that's a team that has, you know, overcome a lot of adversity, play with a ton of resiliency. Obviously, we saw on Monday night against Stanford. That's a team that could really, you know, if say they play each other in a championship game, you know, Trumbull could easily win that game. But Greenwich, again, number one in the state, they have enough talent to do it. But you know, if they go up against a team like Ward, they need to be careful.
Trumbull not far behind Greenwich. They are number 3 in the state. So we are just under 12 minutes to play in the first half. Scoreless here from Danbury High. Falcons and the Hatters.
It's almost unfair. I want to be at every game today. All 3 matchups are so much fun today.
And, of course, after this game, we will have more coverage. You're going to have McMahon and Greenwich in girls volleyball. That can be seen here on the HAN network, the end of our coverage. That, of course, to determine who's going to be the number 1 seed in the volleyball playoffs. We've got all of our postseason action officially beginning next week. We'll have double headers on Tuesday and Thursday. We'll have girls and boys soccer semifinals Tuesday, followed by the field hockey semifinals, as well as having championships for boys, girls soccer, and field hockey on Thursday. We're going to have football Friday night, and next Saturday we'll have the volleyball championships. We've got a busy week coming up.
That's a fun way to end the year for girls volleyball. Let's see who gets number 1 seed.
It's going to be a great game without a doubt. 2 of the best teams. I mean, you look at Brian McMahon, and we were down there doing our location scout last week. Our executive producer, Josh Fisher, talked about how this is a team, you know, once-in-a-decade team for the Senators this year, and that's really been the exact way to describe him. As Rodriguez looking for help on the through ball here, coming out and able to clear a side. Well done there. Good work. That was Michael Rowland.
Yeah, smart play, mature play by Michael Rowland there just to get it out. Danbury knocking on the door, though, Frank.
Well-placed ball coming off the foot. Just a little out of reach.
Yeah, so far, you know, you said it, Frank, no team has really stood out as to have the full advantage, but if I have to give it so far, it's Danbury. They've had the more chances, but man, McGuire, he's come up big so far for the Falcons. A couple great saves.
This one played towards the front of the box. Jockeying for position.
This back four for the Falcons has done a tremendous job. Obviously, they know coming into this game that they're missing a couple starters, so they're not going to be able to really, you know, possess the ball as well as, you know, they thought they would coming into this game. So they just have to clear the ball out, and this is the way it goes sometimes for these teams who, you know, suffer some big injuries, and in their case, some illnesses as well.
I thought for a second there we might be seeing a free kick in the box or near the box. There was a questionable call, but they are going to say just double-check the ball. The throw-in coming. Rodriguez tried to throw one through the middle. Ultimately results in a corner opportunity now for the Hatters. The second one we've seen tonight for Danbury. with 8:25 remaining in the first half.
Yeah, it's interesting. You're seeing again more Falcons about to come in, some starters as well. Danbury hasn't done any subs.
Low line drive kick, knuckling towards the net.
And again, McGuire coming up big save.
Had to make a play on that one. Had a chance to sort of almost like a screwball action there.
If on another day when there's no players on the field, that ball's going in. No questions asked. It had the right curve. He was sitting with the outside of the foot. And it has an odd spin to it when you hit it with the outside of the foot. And, credit McGuire, great save.
This one played towards the box, just sails a little too far. As Ludlowe unable to clear here. Now coming up with possession, sending the through ball and going off for it is Carson Rush. Rush working down the far sideline. Rush towards the cage. Tried to stop up short. Good defense coming there, and it looks like we've got a corner opportunity now at the Falcons' end.
Yeah, great look for the Falcons. One of their best looks so far in the first half. Coming up on the sideline was Carson Rush. A great defense there to shut him down on the shooter's side. We're going to see some substitutions here. Rowland checking back in.
First big opportunity we've seen for Carson Rush. Gave it a good run. Really the first opportunity for the Falcons. And you're right, I think Jake McGuire has been the best player in this match to this point. And it's not that anyone has dominated as this one thrown to the far side, batted around in the middle. Now here comes a kick off the volley.
That was the best look so far for the Falcons. I mean, credit clearing that ball out on the line, but oof, very, very close play. Great look for the Falcons. Very close to going in.
When you think about the pace of play, the majority of it has been spent in the midfield. That being the first opportunity we've seen from Ludlowe. The Hatters, on the other hand, they've had a couple shots on goal. They've forced McGuire to make some saves, and they really haven't had to. Their back line hasn't been active compared to the Ludlowe back line that I think has had to be clearing balls out,
right,
forcing whistles, forcing throw-ins. Danbury's back line, up until this past minute or so, hadn't been challenged too much.
Yeah, the back four for the Falcons has been tremendous. And, again, Jake McGuire coming up with a couple key saves there. But, now we're starting to see the Falcons possess a little bit, which we haven't seen so far in this game. And, the reason why now they're getting some chances is because of possession. I mean, that's key in this game. You have to possess the ball in order to move upfield, and they've done that.
And both teams, after we spoke with coaches, they're going with 4-4-2 formations. But contrary to what we've seen through most of the season from the underdog teams, where you're keeping a lot of players back, you're slow playing it, looking for that one or two opportunities in the counterattack game where you can win a game 1-0. Ludlowe has at times had only one man back on that back line. They're not playing ultra passively, but they have just not been able to control the ball or possess, like you said, until these past few minutes, and now it's a different story for Ludlowe.
Right, and they're obviously playing a traditional 4-4-2 with two up top, and sometimes we'll see them with different looks. Maybe one striker up top, and they play bring one back into the midfield for maybe a center defensive holding or an extra center attacking mid just to control that middle of the field. But so far we've seen two up top for the Falcons.
Throw in to come, just inside the 20-yard line on the far side, about 25 yards out. Trying to make its way to the box, and this one cleared again. That throw coming from Jared Migodorski. Kevin, we have our first score update from Greenwich and Staples. Iraqi has scored for Greenwich. They lead 1-0 with 14:35 remaining in the first half. It is 0-0 between Danbury and Fairfield Ludlowe. Here from Danbury High School with 3:40 remaining. They'd like the clock to stop now. We've got a whistle, and captains are going to have a discussion here to talk this one over.
There was some jaunting between those two student athletes right there. You see them shake hands and move on from it. But Greenwich up 1-0, okay.
So keep
It's a
an eye
statement.
on that. While there's Trumbull and Stanford and some of the girls' games going on. Of course, you can go to FCIAC.net. If you're watching online, you'll have tweet updates along the right side of your screen for all the other scores. Here come the Falcons now.
Great move.
Another left side, cross towards the middle. Rolls all the way through the box, cleared to safety momentarily. Falcons back on it now. Nicholas Rulio turned that one over for Ludlowe. Job here, but the tackle coming over. Well done there by Matthias Nascimento.
That previous play by the Falcons, what a great service in the box. Just didn't have anyone open in the middle.
You had the original man working towards that front post. You're expecting you'll have that second man in towards the back post, but the second man just really never came into the picture, and that being the missed opportunity there for Ludlowe. But a different 3 or 4 minutes now down the stretch here for the Falcons as they've turned up the pressure a little bit, and we've had to see Danbury get on the defensive side of things.
And again, you're seeing a couple missed passes here for the Hatters. They try and clean things up. But there's a good example right there. That pass right there, you haven't seen that all game. And that play out wide, that's something we haven't seen from the Falcons yet. They've been looking for. This is why we've seen a lot of chances for them.
We've seen them now flip the field, go back the other way. It's forcing Danbury to shift out of position. They look for the through ball to the far side. Good job to run it down on possession for a moment. And pickpocket it off before taking it right back. That time was Nick Rulio. Rulio throws one towards the box. Wind got a hold of that one. And it falls into the waiting arms of the Hatters keeper.
And even great save by the keeper. And, you know, even though it's scooped up by the Hatters, if you're the Falcons, that sequence right there we just saw of them, you know, a couple passes, bang, bang, into the box, that was a great sequence of play right there that I just saw. Probably the best combo passes and played out wide I've seen so far this game.
And also, it gets you into that little bit of a rhythm. You've been struggling to possess the ball. You've had some missed passing opportunities. You get back to the basics with it. You're controlling possession, flipping the field. So we've got a whistle here in our first card of the match. It was a yellow card. Didn't quite see who that went on. And that is going to be, it is number 10 for Ludlowe here. That's Tarcio Almeida.
And if you look here, Kevin O'Hara, Coach O'Hara telling him, you know, what are you doing? You know, if they advance and he gets another yellow, he has to sit in the finals.
That's true.
So you have to be very, very careful. Obviously, referees won't be, you know, they'll be a little lenient towards pulling out the cards, but, you know, there are some tackles where you're just not going to get away with it, and he couldn't get away with it there.
We're under the final minute now in the first half. Scoreless game. As we ping-pong our way back and forth now through the midfield with time winding down. That one. Look at that. Gets a big round of applause from the student section stuck up in the tree on the far side.
You don't see that very often. That's going to be a little difficult for the ball boys.
I was thinking about this before. That's about the third or fourth time now on that side of the field. A player has cleared it, and it's gone over not only the fence on the outside of the track, but the fence on the outside of the stadium. This is a tough day for the ball boys. Shot on goal. Big save there.
Wow. What a fantastic save. They need to hurry up here. This half's about to end.
Corner kick won't matter, so the goal-saving save at the end of the half keeps us scoreless between the 3 and 6 seeds, Fairfield Ludlowe and Danbury. We're going to take a quick break, but we'll be back shortly with more coverage of the 2016 postseason right here on the HAN Network.
Connecticut is coming back to hometown banking. to a partner that makes small businesses feel big. Where community comes first. Where high-tech tools go hand in hand with a human touch. Where you get the know-how only neighbors can deliver. Where saving time is important too. It's time to expect more. It's time to bank well. Bank smart. Bank local. Bank well.
Have a sports injury or a slip and fall that needs immediate care? Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care gives you direct access to an orthopedic specialist fast, without an appointment. Biking, golf, tennis, soccer, whatever the sports injury is, sprain or fracture, Coastal Ortho Express can help. Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care, open Monday through Saturday, now in 2 locations. The iPark building at 761 Main Avenue in Norwalk and 36 Old Kings Highway South in Darien. Or go to coastalorthoexpress.com, like them on Facebook.
Want a new experience in car buying? Scap Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram with one of the largest inventories of new 2- and 4-door Wranglers. We are Connecticut's Wrangler headquarters. Come visit our new Ram Truck Center. Browse our websites, scapchryslerjeep.com or scapdodge.net to find the new Jeep, Chrysler Dodge car, minivan, or Ram truck you've been looking for. Just 2 miles from both I-95 or the Merritt Parkway exit 44. Save thousands right now during the Jeep Celebration event and Ram Power Days. Ends October 31st.
At In Sports Trumbull, the game is always on inside. Recently renovated and home to one of Connecticut's largest indoor turf fields, In Sports is a multi-sport recreation center providing state-of-the-art facilities for league play, camps, and youth programs. Sign up now for In Sports passing and receiving positional November soccer clinic, scheduled for November 19th. Sessions are available for U13 to U14, U15 to U16, and U17 to U19. Featuring college coaches from around the region, this is your official home of Connecticut's Olympic Development Soccer Program. For more information, visit insportcenters.com.
As you're getting back to your regular schedules, we're excited to get back to doing what we do best, offering you the freshest seasonal fare and all the ingredients for a healthy start to school. So shop Walter Stewart's for everything fresh, from A, apples to Z, zucchini, and from cotton candy grapes to back to nature all-natural snack bags. We save you time by stocking all of your favorite back-to-school essentials under one roof. Walter Stewart's Market, 229 Elm Street, or shop online at stewartsmarket.com.
On time, done right, safe and reliable. MrHandymanCT.com.
Let our satisfied customers tell it.
I have called Mr. Handyman for every reason, every occasion, every broken item, every leak. They have bailed me out on many occasions, and I would recommend them to anyone.
For any project, large or small.
MrHandymanCT.com.
Hi, this is Leo Carl from Carl Chevrolet in New Canaan, and you've heard me talk about the Chevy Volt for years. The new model gets 53 miles on EV charge daily, plus 420-mile full range. But don't take my word for it. You need to come in and test drive the Volt yourself. Visit us at 261 Elm Street in New Canaan or online at carldirect.com.
One, two, three, Abby! You know!
I want to find out how good I am.
Yes, sir! If you relax, you get blown out. Let's get it done! Let's get it done!
What can you take advantage of right now?
Again, come on!
I can push myself way beyond what you think.
Pressure technique. Bring it back.
I really wanted something that felt like a home. Coming from a big house, I wanted the feel of a home as opposed to a condo. New Canaan is 6 minutes down the road. New Canaan's a beautiful little town to walk around. I work in Westport. My commute is 20 minutes. It's close to Westchester where my family is, so the location is ideal. There is no other townhome that compares in the area. This is where I want to be.
The leaves are changing, water temps dropping, and the sun is setting a little earlier each day. But there's still a lot of great boating, fishing, and coast time left before we see the first snow. And above all, remember, it's always summer at the Dock Shop. With loads of new fishing tackle and accessories, clothing, jewelry, and home decor, the Dock Shop is just what you need when you start to feel that New England autumn chill. Boater, beach bum, fisherman, or simply love the New England coast, this is a unique place to shop. The Dock Shop, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, 609 Riverside Avenue, Westport, dockshop.com.
This is now 44 years I've been in this business. Digital came along. After I was in business for about 6 years, I had to totally reinvent the business. So I had to make a tremendous investment in my business. And Milford Bank was there for me. I don't really just consider Milford Bank a bank. I consider them a trusted partner in my business. My name is Jim Wilson, owner of Milford Photo. I choose to bank with Milford Bank.
Do you do a lot of running around but get nowhere when you're buying a car? Visit Pamby Chrysler Jeep Dodge and Ram for the one-stop buying experience and stop spinning your wheels.
Washington Prime, now open on Main Street in Georgetown. Come enjoy our relaxed setting, excellent service, award-winning nightly happy hours, and feast on our creative new American cuisine. Connecticut Magazine's winner for Best Steak, Washington Prime of Georgetown.
I'm Denise DiGregoli, the host of The Drive on the HAN Network. Join me Tuesdays for some motivational, intelligent talk with a little humor as we visit with people who live their lives mindfully. Tune in to The Drive live on Tuesdays, 12:30, here on the HAN Network.
When it comes to local entertainment, we've got it all.
From movies, local artists, etiquette, and more.
Watch HAN Arts and Leisure with me, Steve Coulter, and our Arts and Leisure editor, Sally Sanders, Mondays at 12:30, right here on the HAN Network.
I'm John Kovach. I'm a newspaper editor. I'm a high school football coach. I'm a television presenter. And I want you to love fishing as much as I do. Tune into Yankee Fisherman, Thursdays at 1 on the HAN Network. It's like going to the tackle shop without leaving your office.
On Election Day in Connecticut, the HAN Network has you covered with real-time results and analysis.
Will your town vote for Trump or for Clinton?
And who will be representing you in Hartford and in Washington, D.C.? HAN's news reporters and editors will be out in the field talking to the candidates, collecting results, and we'll be breaking it all down on air with live local analysis you won't find anywhere else.
Watch Connecticut Election Night 2016 live starting at 8 p.m. on HAN.network.
Back here on the HAN Network with our 2016 FCIAC postseason coverage for the fall season. Boys soccer quarterfinals underway starting today. We have got Danbury and the defending FCIAC champions Fairfield Ludlowe scoreless at the end of the first half. Kevin, I thought we saw a different Ludlowe team in the final 5 minutes there. Really started to possess the ball, turned up the pressure a little bit, even had a couple of opportunities, forcing goaltender David Malenthiel to make a couple saves.
Yeah, possession's the big word. I think they really stepped up their possession game. It was non-existent in the beginning part of the game. I'd say the first 15 or so. You didn't really see them possess the ball, just clearing the ball up. They finally slowed things down. Then you saw them, get back into it. You saw them, they had that good chance right before the half ended, Frank. Great save. Trying to go up 1-0. So we'll see what happens here. We'll see what kind of look they change anything up for on both sides.
Both Malenthiel and McGuire had to make critical saves throughout that first half. First 20 minutes, 25 minutes, though, you really felt the pressure of Danbury and saw the speed that the Hatters have put on display. They tried to stretch the field, a couple of opportunities, but it was McGuire for the Falcons who got the best of the Hatters' offense.
Oh, McGuire. I'm sure if you watched the first half, you saw that terrific save he made. But for the Hatters, it was Ricardo Rodriguez. I mean, he showcased not only his speed, his foot skills, and his just perfect placing of the through balls that they put through to create some chances for the Hatters. I'm sure we're going to see a lot of him in the second half.
Getting some adjustments made with the ball boys here. Got 2 on one sideline right now. They want this sorted out. But you have to figure, Kevin, this is the kind of game that Ludlowe would like to play to. They've only scored 26 goals this season, averaging just under, 1.6 per game. But they have only allowed 14 all year. That's good enough for a .87 goals against average. They have 7 shutouts on the season. But the contrary to that is they have been shut out six times.
Right, and that's the contrast they don't like to see. But this back four is really good, and they're young back four too. So that's good news for Coach O'Hare and the rest of the Fairfield Ludlowe Falcons. And especially struggling down the stretch, losing a Ward. They went 0-2-1, falling down to the 6th seed. Obviously, you see here.
They're going to try to run quickly here. That through ball opportunity was denied from the back line there. But again, of the 16 games that Ludlowe played, 13 of those games resulted in a shutout for one team or the other. So they're very comfortable in this situation, very familiar with it. But it's not always worked out to their advantage, as they have been on the losing end of several games being held scoreless.
And just being down the field, listening to the halftime speech that O'Hara had to say for the Falcons, the big word that he said a lot was push. Push the ball, push forward, make sure they're pressing. So that's something that you got to keep an eye on for the Falcons here in the second half.
Falcons now moving right to left on your screen. They are moving in to the wind. The Hatters and Danbury will have the wind at their back. Again, wind gusts averaging between 15 to 20 miles per hour a day. We could see gusts as high as 25 miles per hour. As this kick you see just get eaten up as it crosses over the 30 into the wind, getting stuck in the air. And more 50-50 ball play through the midfield now as we start the second half. And there's that wind playing a factor again, bouncing over McGuire's head. He misjudged that one. And charging in, applying pressure was Nascimento.
Yeah, if you're McGuire, that's just a misjudge. It's that wind. And it's not easy. It took a bounce, too, right before it hit the box. So that's always dangerous if you're a goalie when it takes a big bounce like that. It gives a forward or striker or another offensive player an opportunity to get ahead on the ball.
Good hustle there. And earning possession was Felipe Alves. Ball into the box, going up for it, just sailed wide, but the offside flag had been raised. Alves with a great through ball opportunity. And this is where I think the wind could play a big factor, because Alves had some great high kicks into the box in the wind in the first half. Now with the wind at his back, we saw McGuire misjudge one or two. He could potentially throw one on goal here that might end up in the net.
Hey, you're absolutely right about that. And it's interesting here to see that the Falcons play a quick goal kick here to kind of keep the Hatters on their toes. But you're right, into the wind now, and you're going to see these lofting balls kind of stick around a little longer than they did in the first half. And it plays to the advantage of the Hatters, because McGuire has to take that extra second to judge on where that ball is going to be.
Looking for Nascimento. He was in a sea of blue shirts there. Good defense from the Falcons outside the box.
And good no call by the referee there.
Play on is awarded. Go back and forth. Falcons content to stretch the field and flip which end it is on.
And I thought there he had some room in the middle to switch back and maybe switch the field, but not a bad lofting ball over the back four of the Hatters.
Back we go. This one will roll out of bounds. And I think the mentality that time, Kevin, was for Fairfield Ludlowe, let's just get it to the opposite side of the field. Take a little bit of the pressure off, because Danbury came out quick and was looking to capitalize early on.
Yeah, Danbury's done a nice job putting a lot of pressure on the Falcons, and especially their back four. And Jack McGuire, they've definitely put some pressure on him. So I was curious to see what team was gonna come out with the most excitement and advantage here in the second half. And so far, it's been the Hatters.
Out of town scores, Greenwich leads 1-0 at halftime over Staples. In the girls' side of the bracket, Wilton has a 1-0 lead as they received a first-half goal from Ali Dehana. So the Warriors on top of the West Hill Vikings.
Wow.
In the 4-5 matchup on the girls' side of the bracket. Trumbull and Stanford are now underway. That game is still scoreless early on in the first half. And we are scoreless here 5 minutes into the second half. And our quarterfinal game between Danbury and Fairfield Ludlowe. But the Hatters back on the attack. This one sails well over the net. Aggressive effort there, though, as we see Danbury start to open it up a little bit on offense, firing at the net.
I'm surprised. I'm shocked at that score. Wilton West Hill. That's a West Hill team that you and me, heavily talked about yesterday on Nutmeg Sports. That's a team that we liked coming in as a dark horse. So, credit the Warriors for taking a 1-0 lead on them. Just like we saw yesterday in the 4-5 game with Darien and Ward, we're going to see another great game, the 4-5 game in the girls' bracket, Wilton West Hill.
We'll keep an eye on that one as well as all the other FCIAC matchups taking place today. The only game played yesterday was Fairfield Ward at Darien in a 4-5 matchup. Ward able to knock off the higher-ranked Blue Wave, winning 3-2 in penalty kicks. They await the winner of that Greenwich Staples game as Rodriguez tried to stop short. Good defense coming this time.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to keep an eye on that Staples-Greenwich game. I thought Staples was, they still have plenty of time going into halftime, see if they make adjustments for the second half, but that's a game that I thought Staples maybe there was an upset looming. But Greenwich, again, just too good. But that's a game where I thought maybe Greenwich would kind of come out and be overly confident.
Edwin Rosano to throw this one in. Rodriguez back to Rosano. Give and go one more time. Here's Rodriguez from 25 yards out on cage. No, just high.
Wow. And Frank, you can't give him space like that. You can't let him roam around and play something like that. He beats one defender, rips a shot like that. Great look for Ricardo. Absolute brilliance.
Just sailed over the net. Useful shot, though. You saw that knuckle effect again. Almost like the inverted 12-6 curve coming back down towards that crossbar. The wind just eating it up, sending it high. But Ricardo Rodriguez, his best opportunity of the match with 32:40 now left to play in regulation.
You see him stretching the back four now as he's up top, playing lonely striker right now. And he's really has two of the center backs on him, and he's keeping those wide backs honest.
On a play, they'll say that the Falcons will take over. Advantage awarded to Ludlowe again.
And for Ludlowe here, they need to get this one in the box. They need to sail it into the 18. They can't let it fade right before the 18. They need to get this ball in the box. They really haven't had big advantages here. This is their big spot right here for the Falcons. See if they can get something going on this free kick.
31-45, free kick coming. It's a low line drive kick towards the cage. Collision in front as stepping out was Mullen Thiel. And light whistle there caused a little bit of confusion.
And the ball went out of bounds, but that free kick I really liked. That's exactly what I'm talking about, Frank.
Rodriguez unable to catch up to that one as it just was out of his reach. Kick gets stuck up in the air immediately at the 35-yard line. Just too high. Tough on the goal kicks having to punt it up that high right now. It's going to get caught in the wind, stopped.
And that's why I was very curious as the game started during the coin toss, why they elected to go into the win in the first half. It was interesting that they were really wanting to do that.
Gordsky's throw-in. Headed out to safety there as coming over to make a play on that one was Felipe Alves. So now Magdorsky set for the free kick. Excuse me, the corner kick. The lefty lining it up.
Look for a runner on the far post.
Another low line drive kick sailed through the box, and Alves one more time clears out to safety. Able to run it down momentarily there was Nascimento.
And that's a good example of closing him down. You got to close Ricardo down if you want to be successful. Make sure he doesn't create any chances. That's a prime example of shutting him down like that.
This one sent out towards that back line, waiting just inside midfield. So it's the Falcons now. Apply a little bit of pressure on the offensive side. But a pass opportunity sails just long.
And still, not many substitutions for the Hatters. I know they have, some key players hurt on the bench.
I have not seen any yet in the first 12 minutes of the second half for Ludlow. They had almost 9, I want to say, in that first half total. As Rodriguez's pass sails long.
And I think Kevin O'Hara definitely wanted to keep the starters well rested, taking some out, letting them have, 10 minutes of rest so they can be prepared for a full, maybe even full. We could even see more time if we get lucky enough, if it ends the way it is right now.
Rosano on possession just behind midfield. Giving go along the sideline. Played there with his partner Andrew Penaranda. And here's an opportunity now for the Falcons. In on Cage, shot on goal, big save by McGuire. The rebound rolling towards the end line, no goal.
Wow.
Brilliant work. It was Kevin Spinato.
Kevin Spinato just saved Danbury's season for the most part, right? Wow. That was amazing. You don't see that very often, Frank. And credit, to give it another chance on the rebound, but wow, what a save. And those are 2 great saves on opposite ends for both teams today. You got Kevin McGuire, of course, in the first half, who made that terrific one-handed save.
Molin Thial made the original save. There was a rebound lying around. Crashing in with an opportunity was James Rowland. Looked like he was going to squeak the rebound across. And Spinato, the forward moved to the back line, saves the day.
I mean, I'm speechless on that save. It's rare that you see that ever happen, and amazing. Just the fact that he was able to save that right on the line too. Exceptional play. And this only means this game's going to have more drama.
Well, and that certainly woke everyone in the stadium up. We'd gone through a little bit of a lull. Pace of play had slowed down. A lot of turnovers. That'll get them going, though, here.
Yeah, Frank, these final 25 minutes or so are going to be excellent.
So the Falcons now coming the closest to this point in the match, just inches away from taking a 1-goal lead as Rodriguez unable to control that one the way he would have liked, but it still almost made its way on cage. Forcing McGuire to make some kind of a save. Out of town in girls soccer, Staples has scored again to start the second half. They now lead Darien 3-0 in that quarterfinal match.
Yeah, I still think that Trumbull-Stanford game, the rematch, that's going to be a great, absolutely great matchup between those two teams.
It's going to roll out over the end line. It'll be a goal kick. We saw Darien lose last night in boys soccer. Girls soccer now, they're struggling down 3-0 early as we get set for some substitutions here from the Ludlowe Falcons. They won yesterday in girls volleyball, but they still need help today to be eligible to qualify for the playoffs. When you think about how successful the Darien programs were last season and what that graduating class meant to not only the school, but really the state of Connecticut with all that they did, it's hard to believe that we're seeing a lot of these Darien teams eliminated so early in postseason play.
No, you're absolutely right. It's weird to think that, Darien's out for the boys' side. They have traditionally a good soccer program there, a nice run team by the coaching staff there, and for the girls too, it's a good program there for both boys and girls for soccer and for volleyball too. I think it's just a surprise that they're having kind of a
true rebuilding year.
Yeah, but that's not to say that if they get in, I still say they're going to be one of the more dangerous 8 seeds going into the tournament.
Especially with the number 1 seed still up for grabs until roughly around, we'll say 7 o'clock tonight. We won't know who the 1 seed will be. So a Darien team that sneaks in at number 8 could be very scary to whoever gets that spot. I don't know that I would want to face them in the first round.
Listen, you're with me, man. There's not many teams that would want to face Darien in the first round.
Free kick coming. And we've got a Hatter player down here on the back line now. Able to pop back up. That was Spinato. Under 24 minutes left in regulation. Scoreless between Fairfield Ludlowe and Danbury. And it has been a Falcons-dominated last 10 minutes here as they've really flipped the field on the Hatters.
And I think for the Hatters, obviously Ricardo Rodriguez has had some great touches on the ball going forward. I feel like you need to have someone there with him just to kind of, be there as an assistant, be there for assistance, because you see that header. He thought maybe there was a running Hatter, running behind him on that header to maybe force, a transition there. But, I'm surprised that they're playing a lonely striker right now. But again, you see the blue wave. This passing is brilliant.
And when you think about it, the last time that Danbury had any kind of momentum or really was holding possession was on that Rodriguez shot attempt from about 20 out that just sailed over the end, just sailed over the crossbar. Since then, it's been all Fairfield Ludlowe here.
Boy, that was a great look by Ricardo Rodriguez. I mean, still, that was a world-class shot, world-class look, but a good chance here for the Falcons.
Free kick opportunity, another low line drive kick. This one's going to roll all the way across the opposite sideline out of play. And so it will be Danbury who takes over. Tyler Warren, the freshman, throws this one in.
And credit both goalies today. They've come up with some great saves and really, really doing a fine job of keeping their teams in this. Great strip.
We have seen a yellow card in today's match that went against Tarisio Almeida, who's on possession right now. Pulled down from behind. little slow to get up, but appears to be okay.
You see that left ankle he's holding right now. And again, you're going to see this free kick for Darian Frank. Great spot here for a lefty, for a left foot here. Let's see what kind of pace he puts on this ball. Great look.
Good save. Now it's the Hatters out in transition.
Yeah, Ricardo was offsides. Good step by the back four for the Ludlow. Couldn't play him the ball. He was well offside. First sub for the Hatters today.
Really been a different second half here as we get a injury timeout. Looks to be a player cramping, Kevin, but it was McGuire for Fairfield Ward really holding, or excuse me, for Fairfield Ludlow holding the Falcons in that first half, but it's been David Molenthea, the goalie for Danbury, who has been the strength now for the Hatters in the second half.
I mean, both goalies have been so good. Coming up with big saves late down here on the stretch of the second half. And like I said before, these last 20 minutes are going to be really, really fun. You know, both teams are definitely going to put the pressure on the back four for both teams. And we'll see if, you know, someone can find the back of the net. Eventually someone will. And it's going to be exciting to watch. But it's going to be also tough because these goalies have done such a fantastic job this afternoon of keeping their teams in the scoreless draw.
One pinballed around between the 40 and 25 for a moment. On possession now are the Falcons. The Hatters back the other way. This one out of bounds. There's another Falcons player slow to get up on the far side.
It was a late tackle. I was wondering if maybe the referee would blow his whistle for it, but looks like he's going to be all right.
They're going to award Danbury possession. So it rolled out of bounds.
And if you're on Twitter, Frank, you can watch that.
Do have that highlight of that big save made from Kevin Spinato.
Again, that was just incredible.
Opportunity here. Ricardo Rodriguez looking to run. It finds McGuire instead. We're under 20 minutes to go in regulation. 0-0 the score. We get a look at the replay, Kevin. There it is, just at the last minute, Spinato coming over and making that save.
Again, just unbelievable that he made that save. And, you know, these referees are doing a great job today. It's not easy, especially in a playoff game. You know, you got people jawing and yelling at you all game long. You got to give credit. They have done a nice job. There's been one card given, but I thought they've done a nice job of, you know, letting the pace of play continue and not letting it get out of hand.
Hatters looking to run now, but that one was turned over off the foot of Nascimento. Very slow pace to this second half. Neither team too aggressive or taking very many chances here through the first 20 minutes. One played through the box, just missed on that one. It was Felipe Alves again with the free kick opportunity. Another sub coming here. Carson Rush checking back in for Ludlowe.
And just in terms of this tournament, this FCIAC playoff tournament for boys and girls, it's just so much fun. The excitement that these games bring, obviously, if this game if regulation ends 0-0, we're going to see extra time, which everyone loves. It's just the excitement, the drama. It's if you're new to FCIAC soccer, welcome, because this is exceptional, and this is one of my favorite times of the year just to follow these FCIAC playoffs. It's such excitement. It's a lot of fun. It's just great soccer because the skill that these young student athletes have is almost mind blowing in a way, because it's just so much fun. It's excellent to watch.
Around here momentarily, Carson Rush was trying to win possession for the Falcons there. Finally, a whistle blown here. We saw a couple of players on the ground throughout the 5-yard block right there. A couple of out-of-score updates here. Boys soccer, Trumbull's now up 2-0 on Stanford early in the first half. About 20 minutes left to play. With less than 20 minutes to play, it is the Staples Lady Wreckers on top of the Darien Blue Wave. And the Ridgefield girls still with a 1-0 lead over the Trumbull Tigers. Spinato going up for that one. Ludlow coaching staff thought he went over the back there, but no foul called. Play on with 15 minutes remaining in the second half.
You're seeing that good skill by the Hatters there. They have, especially in the center mid.
Carl Wilson with it. Drops it back. Rodriguez looking to make something out of nothing, trying to find space. It's on goal. But a routine save from McGuire.
And there it is again, Frank. You can't give him the space if you're Fairfield. He's just so good on the ball. He will beat you. Flat out beat you. And granted, it was right at the goalie, but that's a great look by Ricardo Rodriguez.
Rosen. And it's in. Nascimento picks up the first goal. And the Hatters with a 1-0 lead with only 14 minutes left to play.
They stretch that back four, Frank. Nascimento, great finish with McGuire coming in. It's just a breakdown of the back four, plain and simple. And the Hatters drew it up perfectly. Great through ball, even better finish. And you almost knew that a goal was coming eventually. We saw Fairfield Ludlowe; they had their chances, and Danbury that's the name of the game. You got to finish, and they finished there, 1-0.
Edwin Rosano, the through ball opportunity, and Nascimento able to convert. The number 3 seed Hatters, who had just felt as though they were playing uphill for most of this second half, finally able to break through on McGuire. And it is 1-0 in favor of the Hatters. Carl Wilson now. Danbury trying to ride off this momentum with under 14 to play.
And if you're Fairfield, you just need to, take a deep breath. You're down 1-0, but there's plenty of time.
Working towards that end line, through ball. Cross attempt. Wide, we'll see. It will indeed be a corner kick opportunity.
And you just see, Frank, the the full advantage that now that Danbury has a 1-0 lead, they're using that. You can tell just by their body language, they're pushing the ball even more forward now.
Felipe dos Rios sends one into the box. Bounced around for a moment. Wilson over to Nascimento. Off the side of the foot there. Sails out.
Yeah, you knew what he was trying to do there. Just mishit it. Tried to play it to the back post.
Kevin, with only 12 minutes remaining now, how aggressive does Ludlowe need to get? How much time do they really have to spare before they have to throw everything they have at the Hatters?
I think at the time, for right now, they have 12 minutes. It's a lot of time in soccer. They definitely, once you get around to the, maybe 6 minutes left, 5 minutes left, around that ballpark, you gotta press forward. Even if you throw 3 up top, you gotta press people forward. And this is a good job by the referee to not let this game get out of hand. He's telling both sides to calm down, let it reset.
That was Tarcio Almeida, who has to be very careful. He has a yellow card already. Clearly the emotion's starting to pick up as well. Nascimento works his way through a couple of defenders.
Nice moves.
And this one, again, cleared out of play.
And Fairfield playing with 2 up top all game. They may see, Tarcio just stay as a true striker and put 3 up top. Right now he's playing center attacking mid. You just saw him on the ball.
Almost a big opportunity for the Falcons, but good job by Spinato again on that back end. Free kick opportunity coming. And we had a shove in the box here. Went against Ludlowe. 10:30 in the final minutes of regulation now. Nascimento, the goal scorer for Danbury. On it there is David Bates. Good tackle from Edwin Rosano, sliding up to make a play.
It's close to being offsides there.
That's going to be a foul.
Good call by the referee there. As you see here, Darien putting a lot of numbers in. 1 back. See 1 defender back here. They're going to put 1 center back, the top of the 18 unmarked.
Short little chip towards the box. On the left side now, coming over, sliding save was made by a defender. Another shot on goal. It's tipped wide, tiptoeing along the line, and cleared to safety. Another strong defensive effort from the Hatters. And really, Kevin, it's been the defenders for Danbury that are getting it done on that goal line.
Boy, again, just dangerous. Extremely dangerous. And again, great job by the back 4 of the Hatters just to clear that ball out. They're putting their bodies in front of the ball, which is very smart.
Another throw-in infraction here against Fairfield Ludlowe. Stepping over the line one more time. So it's turned over now.
That's so frustrating if you're a coach. That's something you're taught when you're in the youth academies, how to throw in a ball. And if you get an infraction like that, especially in a big game like this, drives coaches crazy.
Carl Wilson receiving the throw-in from Rosano. Handball here going against
Darien needs to get numbers forward. They don't They don't need to play a quick free kick. Just get numbers forward.
Ball towards the box. To be bounced around momentarily. Controlled, but then cleared away. Carl Wilson coming over now. Good effort here. Trying to win the 50-50 ball. And he did indeed. It appeared that a ref had signaled the advantage to go towards Danbury, but it's the Falcons who started up.
Yeah, credit the Hatters. They're still putting pressure on, even up 1-0. That's always good to see. You want to keep the pressure going with your momentum going as well towards their end.
Rosana throws this one up into the wind. Makes its way all the way to the opposite side of the field. First time they've been here in a few minutes now. Bates.
Yeah, continue. Falcons need to get players forward. You got to switch the field.
This one thrown to space on the far side. Under 7 minutes to play. Ludlowe, the defending FCIAC champion, trailing 1-0 here in the FCIAC quarterfinals. Ricardo Rodriguez is on the bench at the moment for Danbury. And this one wisely played down that far sideline all the way towards the corner. If nothing else, Danbury is able to eat up another 15-20 seconds here.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, putting it back in their own end. This is a great move by the Hatters. They want to kill clock. This is it.
Darien has scored in their girls' game. They trail 3-1 to Staples now. Trumbull has added another goal on the boys' side of the bracket, leading 3-0 with 14 minutes left in the first half over Stanford. And the Trumbull Lady Eagles trail 1-0 at the half to the Ridgefield Tigers.
Yeah, 3-0 Trumbull over Stanford. A little surprised by that. You see Ricardo Rodriguez is on the sideline for the Hatters, still treating his right ankle. You can see he was trying to move it around. Still nursing, trying to get back to 100% health. We'll see if he checks back in, but they put a defender on to replace him. But they didn't change their formation at all. Still 2 up front, 4 in the middle, and 4 in the back.
5 minutes remaining. Nothing Danbury. Fairfield Ludlowe stuck on their own end right now. Stop the clock here as there's a Falcons player down.
Looks like it may be Almeida who's down. Of course, looks like he's been suffering some sort of injury all game. You see him trying to get up here, but this gives a moment. This actually may favor Ludlowe because it gives them a time to, regroup, reset, talk things over.
There's 4:46 remaining, and let's take a quick break here, get a word from our sponsors while they tend to the injured Falcon. We'll be right back with the FCIAC quarterfinals here on the HAN Network.
Connecticut is coming back to hometown banking. To a partner that makes small businesses feel big. Where community comes first. Where high-tech tools go hand in hand with a human touch. Where you get the know-how only neighbors can deliver. Where saving time is important too. It's time to expect more. It's time to bank well. Bank smart. Bank local. Bank well.
If
If you're watching this broadcast, you're not alone. The HAN network is available for 200,000 Connecticut cable customers on the Frontier Network, and we've also reached 1.7 million viewers on our free live streaming sports, news, and entertainment broadcasts. To reach our rapidly growing audience, contact Advertising Director Jessica Murrin at 203-273-7312 or email jessica@han.network.
Welcome back to the HAN Network's postseason coverage here. 2016 FCIAC Boys Soccer Quarterfinals. Tarcio Almeida walking off the field, favoring that right leg. He's been battling injury. We talked before the game with Coach O'Hara. They were going to see how much they could get out of him. He's been very active all day, Kevin, but it looks like he's probably going to be done here with 4:46 remaining in the match.
He's also sitting on a yellow card, so he needed to be careful all game. He got in the first half, and if they are able to equalize this and move on, he has to be careful in that next game. But hopefully he'll be okay. As you can tell, he's slowly limping off the field, finally exiting the field.
So it's 1-0. Kaique Nascimento, the only goal in the match. Nice little lob through ball there. And now a big opportunity for Ludlow. Corner kick coming. Igor Radowski going to send this one in. Heading towards the cage, stepping out. Well done there. Cleared to safety. Maybe let's say another corner kick here.
And even though it went out for a corner, great save there as he had a runner coming to the near post.
It's a good play from David Mullenthal. More time towards the net, but this one misses on the short side, so a goal kick now to follow. And a wasted opportunity at a critical moment in the match.
Well said. Wasted opportunity, a chance to get another corner in, and you can't even get it, into the 18. It's unfortunate for Ludlow.
50-50 ball at midfield. Skips over the first set of defenders. Carl Wilson advances it. And it's played out of bounds again, but every time this happens, Kevin, it's 10, 15 seconds off the clock, and Ludlow has got to go the length of the field just to get a chance.
And that's why this is why I've liked how Danbury continues to put the pressure on, because momentum is still in their favor, and they've used it and to keep them pinned back in their own end, which is, like you said, killing a lot of clock.
Wilson giving chase. This one rolls over the end line, and the goal kick is awarded.
We're going to see Almeida check back in, so it's good to see him back on his feet. As he was tended to by the medical staff, getting taped up.
Under 2 minutes to play. Danbury with a 1-0 lead. The defending FCIAC champions on the verge of being eliminated in the first round. Final 90 seconds to play. The Falcons with one more opportunity here. Waiting for the throw-in. This one again cleared out. Time winding out now for the Falcons. 60 seconds left. Ludlow has got to press. Worked upfield, opportunity to cross one here. Working through the box, and Spinato able to clear momentarily. This one sent towards the net. Not taking any chances, Montiel. Diving up, guaranteeing that it had rolled over the top of the net. 30 seconds remaining. They'll stop the clock here as the pass towards the goalie. And we got a yellow card being awarded here to Spinato. They're going to say it was a delay of game effort. Trying to stall there. Felipe Alves will take the goal kick. Up to midfield. Falcons trying to get something done in the last 20 seconds. Need to throw it towards the box. They trail by a goal here. Good footwork. Splitting through a couple of defenders, and this one sent towards the end line. Will it go out of play? Not the first time, it will the second with 3, 2, and 1. And the Hatters from Danbury have knocked off the defending FCIAC champions. There will be a new holder of the crown in 2016. Danbury 1, Fairfield Ludlowe 0. The final score in this match. A brilliant effort from both sides, but it is Kaique Nascimento who picks up the lone goal in the match. And hopefully our own Kevin Coleman will be joined by the man of the match shortly as we get a good look at the goal scorer now. So Danbury advances. They await the winner of the Trumbull and Stanford game. Again, the score in that match right now, it was 3-0 Trumbull in the first half. You see players going through the handshakes line. Again, it was a great game from goalkeepers Jack McGuire and David Molenthiel. Both players doing tremendously. One of the men you have to mention, of course, is Kevin Spinato. Moving back to the back line for the Hatters in a huge performance. But we have got our own Kevin Coleman now, who is down on the sideline with our man of the match. Let's go down to Kevin.
Thanks, Frank. Down here on the field with Kaique Nascimento with the game-winning goal today. Kaique, take me through that goal and what's going through your mind as you celebrate with your teammates.
Oh, I couldn't think of nothing because this was a so important moment to me because, I came to America 3 years ago and I'm just learning how to speak English, but it was one of the most important moments in my life because, in Brazil we play soccer a lot, but here it's so how the sport is growing up, and oh my God, I cannot even express myself right now because it's so important moment. I have played for this school for 3 years, and now I'm starting but my senior year, but I cannot even express myself about this moment.
Well, it was a very exciting goal, of course, celebrate with your teammates. But talk about that last minute. You guys are up 1-0. What's going through your mind defensively? You're just trying to get that ball out of there.
Yeah. 1-0, they couldn't score any moment because this is so hard game to us because they're so good too. I clap for them because this was a good battle for us, and now we're gonna trying to win because we didn't came here for nothing. We're gonna try to win and doing our best, and I'll give my blood for it.
And talk about the chemistry of this team moving forward now into the semifinals. What's this chemistry like on this team?
Oh, we have talked about this a lot because we had like two losses, and we trying to learn. We played a lot like for 3 years, but our chemistry like 2 games ago was kind of low. So we tried to talk and hang out a lot with our team, and now we have a good chemistry, and we're gonna go to win.
Kaiki, congratulations and best of luck next round in the semifinals. I'm sure we'll see you there.
Thank you.
All right, take care. Frank, back to you.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Kaike. Let's take a quick break, and we will be right back with the final stats and analysis. Break this one down right after this on the HAN Network.
Have a sports injury or a slip and fall that needs immediate care? Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care gives you direct access to an orthopedic specialist fast, without an appointment. Biking, golf, tennis, soccer, whatever the sports injury is, sprain or fracture, Coastal Ortho Express can help. Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care, open Monday through Saturday, now in 2 locations. The iPark building at 761 Main Avenue in Norwalk and 36 Old Kings Highway South in Darien. Or go to coastalorthoexpress.com, like them on Facebook.
Want a new experience in car buying? Scap Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram with one of the largest inventories of new 2- and 4-door Wranglers. We are Connecticut's Wrangler headquarters. Come visit our new Ram Truck Center. Browse our websites, scapchryslerjeep.com or scapdodge.net to find the new Jeep, Chrysler Dodge car, minivan, or Ram truck you've been looking for. Just 2 miles from both I-95 or the Merritt Parkway exit 44. Save thousands right now during the Jeep Celebration event and Ram Power Days. Ends October 31st.
At InSports Trumbull, the game is always on inside. Recently renovated and home to one of Connecticut's largest indoor turf fields, InSports is a multi-sport recreation center providing state-of-the-art facilities for league play, camps, and youth programs. Sign up now for InSports passing and receiving positional November soccer tournament, scheduled for November 19th. Sessions are available for U13 to U14, U15 to U16, and U17 to U19. Featuring college coaches from around the region, this is your official home of Connecticut's Olympic Development Soccer Program. For more information, visit insportcenters.com.
On Election Day in Connecticut, the HAN Network has you covered with real-time results and analysis.
Will your town vote for Trump or for Clinton?
And who will be representing you in Hartford and in Washington, D.C. HAN's news reporters and editors will be out in the field talking to the candidates, collecting results, and we'll be breaking it all down on air with live local analysis you won't find anywhere else.
Watch Connecticut Election Night 2016 live starting at 8 p.m. on HAN.network.
If you're watching this broadcast, you're not alone. The HAN Network is available for 200,000 Connecticut cable customers on the Frontier Network. And we've also reached 1.7 million viewers on our free live streaming sports, news, and entertainment broadcasts. To reach our rapidly growing audience, contact Advertising Director Jessica Murrin at 203-273-7312 or email jessica@han.network.
Back at Danbury High School again, the final score, the Danbury Hatters 1 and the Ludlowe Falcons 0. Danbury will advance to the semifinals where they await the winner of Trumbull and Stanford. We do have an out-of-town score, though, quickly, Kevin. Greenwich was up 2-1 on Staples with 6 minutes remaining in that match. But you look at this today, I thought for the majority of the game and really most of the day, Danbury was the better team. They're able to pull it out and get it done. How far can this Hatters team go?
If they can finish, they can go very far. There's no saying that they can't go to the finals. They could definitely go to the finals if they can finish. And today I thought they possessed the ball really well. I thought Ricardo Rodriguez was great in the ball. And, of course, Nascimento with the absolute great world-class finish with the game-winning goal. You also got to give credit to Ludlow. I thought after a slow start, they picked up play, had some nice looks, some nice possession. Obviously a shot that went off the line. So both teams played extremely well today.
And it's a young Ludlow team. Next up for them in about a week and a half, they'll get ready for the state tournament. They're going to be the 23 seed, so they'll have a tough matchup in that first round. But the 7th time this season they've been shut out now, and that's really been scoring has been their plague all season long.
And there was that great graduating class. That's a big reason why they've had such a tough time scoring. They don't have a big presence up top, especially in the striker position.
Kaique Nascimento is the hero in this one. The final score again, Danbury 1, Ludlow nothing. Stay tuned, we've got volleyball coming up on deck right here on the HAN Network. Greenwich travels to McMahon. Make sure you're back with us next week. Coffee break at 11 a.m. with Casey Frenzy on Monday. We'll preview all of our postseason coverage. For Kevin Coleman, I'm Frank Renito. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next week right here on the HAN Network.